From the BBC World Service, in association with ABC and Akashvani, this is Stumped.
Hello and welcome to Stumped, your intercontinental hit of news, features and debate from the quirky world of cricket. I'm Alison Mitchell in London, nursing a little bit of a strained back at the moment, but also getting over England posting more than 300 in a T20 international at Old Trafford last weekend. And that was absolutely stupendous. Feel very lucky to have witnessed it.
Ali, I hope your back's okay. Is that a Cummins back? He's the fella having spasms at the moment, and there's a bit of talk around that he may not play one game in the Ashes. We will see. More importantly and positively from Australia's viewpoint, Labuschagne and Constance in warm-up games of sorts have made hundreds. But the Australian women in a one-day warm-up against India went down by the biggest margin ever for them in a one day. So there's a bit going on.
I'm Charu Sharma for Akashvani on a quick trip to my school in Rajasthan, the Mayo College of Ajmer, to up our sports optimization program. Not easy when a school offers more than 22 sports. But of course, there's the women's cricket that you mentioned about, Jim. Gladly, that's 1-1. Of course, lots of men's cricket as well. On the field and off the field, plenty to talk about.
Indeed, that was a really eye-catching result between India and Australia's women. Now, after a bit of will they, won't they, Pakistan's men did indeed play the UAE at the Asia Cup this week. The game had been in doubt following a row over India and Pakistan not shaking hands at Pakistan's opening match of the tournament, a game that India won comfortably by 7 wickets. That was the first time that India and Pakistan had played each other since the military conflict earlier this year. The Pakistan Cricket Board claimed that match referee Andy Pycroft had instructed the captains not to shake hands. The PCB then wanted him removed from the tournament, but not only did he remain, he took charge of their game against the UAE as planned. The start of the match was delayed by an hour as Pakistan's players remained at the team hotel as talks continued, with the PCB then releasing a statement saying that Pycroft had apologised to the team manager and captain and that he termed the incident, quotes, a result of miscommunication. Now, the result of the Pakistan game, they beat the UAE. That means that they are through to the Super Fours. They will play India again on Sunday, the 21st of September. Now, Charu, you told us last week on Stump that a lot of people in India felt the game against Pakistan shouldn't even be played, and some felt the same in Pakistan. How have events of the last week gone down with cricket fans in India?
No shortage of drama or news, has there been? And I think there's much more drama still to come, although I wonder if the worst, if I can call it that, is over. Well, to a large extent, of course, as you would know, the bulk of India seemed to support the Indian government that India should not be playing Pakistan at all. And of course, the BCCI, the ACC and the ICC then made it well known that it's a multilateral event, and the government was, I suppose, forced to acknowledge that. And the rest of the fans, let's call it the anti-government faction, were pretty sore against the government, saying, well, if you're so anti-Pakistan and everything, and if there's some kind of a war going on or the relations are terrible, why are we playing them at all? And the reason, of course, was that this is multilateral, so we can't pull back because of the threat of a ban and so on and so forth, which is why the tournament went on, and India and Pakistan played in neutral territory. And the stand, of course, continued to maintain that this is not a bilateral series. So we're not going to play Pakistan in Pakistan, and vice versa, but multilateral in different countries, we have no choice. So I think the problem really started when the Indians landed in Dubai and there were these handshakes going around with the various people involved, officials and players and so on and so forth. And poor old Surya, for instance, copped a lot of criticism when he was seen shaking hands with an official, which you normally do when you meet people, you sort of shake a hand and kind of, So there's been lots of talk about how the Indian team began badly by maintaining relations with the opposition, that's Pakistan. And of course, the match itself, which led to the criticism that you're talking about, or the incident that you're talking about, which I think from the Indian standpoint was reasonably well received, that you're finally taking a stand here and not maintaining any kind of physical tie or relationship with Pakistan, but merely playing a match and then hopefully, of course, winning, and then leaving the matter at that without showing any excessive love or friendship or camaraderie. So that's pretty clear now that the Indian media seem to think that, all right, I think the team's finally behaving itself and just playing a cricket match and no more.
At the end of the match, Charu, Surya Kumar Yadav used the post-match presentation to take the microphone from Sanjay Manjrekar, the presenter, and unprompted, he made a statement in support of India's armed forces. At a time when many hoped that cricket would be the focal point, Was that necessary?
Well, I'm not so sure it was unprompted, because he might well have been schooled by...
I meant unprompted by the presenter, sorry.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
But if you know what I mean, I think Surya could well have been put up to it, saying that you personally have got a lot of criticism because you've seen shaking hands and otherwise, being familiar with the Pakistan team, and you must overturn that impression by some overt support of either the army or the fact that you're not supposed to be playing against Pakistan. And which is why I suppose he did well to actually remember that. Sometimes you can forget because of the presentation questions, and it must have been drummed into him. That's what I'm suggesting. I don't think it came from just his individual stance. It must have been a collective stance that you've got to now, to salvage your own reputation and that of the team and win some fans over, make that statement to ensure that people do realize that you're not in any way being friendly with them, one, and you overtly support the Indian services effort against Pakistan. So obviously it's not norm at all. And I do think there are rules and clauses that ensure that you must not say something as directly as Surya Kumar Yadav did. But I don't see any fallout of those statements, not from the cricketing fraternity and not from any political fraternity as well. So from the Indian standpoint, people would only applaud what he did and say, yes, that's exactly what you guys should be doing. But if there was to be any objection, it should have come from other quarters, maybe the opposition, maybe ACC, ICC, and that I haven't read much about. So he seems to have gotten away with it and, of course, won himself and the Indian team a lot of support and fans because of that statement.
And the PCB may have had a case to lodge a complaint against what was said post-match, or anybody, in fact. And if you recall, the ICC do have strict rules around political messaging, notably on equipment. I mean, this is not an ICC event. We must remember it's an Asian Cricket Council run event. But if it was an ICC event, you remember Usman Khawaja fell foul of the ICC for wanting to sport the symbol of a dove, the symbol of peace, on his bat, and the lettering, the words "all lives are equal" on his cricket shoes during a test match, and that fell foul. So I guess there is a question that could be asked as to, was that a political statement? And if it was, are the cricket authorities comfortable that the platform of a post-match presentation is used to make such statements? Charu, let me ask you, and around the handshakes, should a protocol have been put in place before the match and communicated to, I guess, not just the players, but the public as well, so that everybody, knew what to expect come the toss?
Well, you make a good point, Alison, except that it's my opinion that had such protocol been discussed prior to the match, and even sufficiently prior to the match, it is entirely possible that there may have been no agreement. And then what? If both the sides were suggesting some kind of different protocol than the usual, either at the toss or post-match or whatever, and there's no
one
real
might have been happy to shake
that.
hands and the other not.
Yeah, well, exactly. So then where are you? Do you not have a match or the toss at all? So I think it just kind of, as far as cricket's concerned, people are just quite happy to have India-Pakistan play for various reasons. But such protocols were not discussed, to my mind, because they might have led to a lot of confusion and different opinion. And therefore, let's just get into it and let it all play out, and we'll handle the aftermath. Seems to have been the concept. But had there been some kind of a diplomatic or between the two teams meeting to decide what we can do and shouldn't do, I just feel that might have gotten to a funny tailspin and just delayed everything had they attempted that. But I would have attempted that, because you're best to sort out everything before rather than face situations which then lead to all sorts of embarrassment.
Yeah. And I think that's possibly what had happened, but obviously there was miscommunication insofar as that's what the PCB statement acknowledges. What of the cricket itself then? Yeah, Pakistan meeting India again in Dubai on Sunday in the first stage of the Super Fours. I mean, cricket-wise, yeah, Pakistan got absolutely wobbled by India, but they did, Jim, come back more stronger against the UAE, so that will give them some encouragement.
No one's going to beat India. They're the most powerful. Pakistan's house is in ruins in terms of selection, administration, you name it. Every aspect of their cricket is in rags at the moment, and it's showing on the field. I don't know how they're going to get things together. Pakistan, they're winning the argument big time now. They change administrators, coaches, captains. They just got to get their act together, because it'll be a joke. India will just walk over everybody.
From the BBC World Service, this is Stumped on Akashvani.
Well, next on Stumped, it's almost time for the Women's World Cup in India and Sri Lanka, and our countdown to the tournament is nearing its end. This week, we're focusing on Pakistan, who qualified for the tournament back in April when they won 5 out of 5 at qualifying matches at home. So, what are their chances? I've been chatting to former Pakistan captain turned commentator Aruj Mumtaz to find out what she's expecting from the team.
I think just from a Pakistan point of view, just the names in the squad, 7 of them making their first ODI appearance. Fatma Sana is still only 23, leading her first ever World Cup side in terms of a mega event. So I think there's a lot of excitement around the corner. There's a lot of exuberance of youth, and you hope that they make an impact. Pakistan's ODI record in World Cups obviously isn't ideal, or is far from ideal, and they want to change that around. But I just feel they've got the right balance in the side, and they've had a lot of cricket building up to this big occasion as well. Even currently, South Africa and Pakistan with those games, and I think they've really done well. They've come together as a group, similar age brackets, and really looking forward to what the girls can put up.
What sort of momentum do you think they would have got from the qualifying tournament, albeit that was all the way back in April, but winning 5 out of 5 to come through was quite something?
Yeah, massive. And I think that was the need of the hour. 5 out of 5, like you said, and Ireland and Bangladesh, West Indies in there as well. Runs from experienced campaigners. Sid Ramin got runs. Alia got runs in that middle order. That was always going to be a huge factor when the team had moved on from the likes of Nida Dar. Alia comes into her own. So I think she got 350s or something like that. Fatma Sana was in with the wickets as well. So complete all-round effort there. And 5 out of 5 at home. That was important as well. Like you say, it was distant in the year, but I think they can always carry that form onwards.
And what about the fact that Pakistan will be playing all their matches in Colombo? I mean, on the one hand, it means they don't have to travel. They'll all be at the same ground. Do you think that would be an advantage for them? Albeit, I think it's the rainy season in Colombo, isn't it?
I think it's always an advantage. I mean, you get accustomed to the situations at hand in terms of grounds and what the weather's like, what the pitches might be doing. You get a few practice sessions in as well. And you got plenty of rest in terms of a massive advantage what the other teams might be doing in travel, and it does take a lot out of you, right? But yeah, the rain will obviously come into account. But I just feel the way the Sri Lankan pitches play are very similar to and will definitely suit our spin heavy attack, which always plays into our favor. And with the sort of team where Pakistan, you get runs on the board, and our bowling lineup always looks that they can obviously spring up a surprise in mega events. It's always been the batting that has let us down. So hopefully this South Africa series gives them enough prep, and being at a venue, definitely a massive advantage.
Talk to me a little bit about the captain, because you mentioned her already, Fatima San. I mean, she was 22 when she captained the team at the 2024 T20 World Cup. She was the youngest captain then. She continues to be, pretty key player with bat and ball, and memorably we'll remember the fact that she left the T20 World Cup sadly with the death of her father, but then also returned, which was a very courageous thing to do. What do you think just simply that action alone sort of did for the Pakistan team?
Yeah, I think it speaks loads in terms of volume of the character and the nature and the dedicated personality that Fatma Sana is. Like you mentioned, the age is stacked up against her. Like 19 and 22 and 23 are still very young and early in your career in terms of having that responsibility. And then obviously to deal with the sad demise of her father, and then to come back, coming back into as captain, and then obviously taking charge at the helm of affairs, and then being one of the main sort of pillars of the team, whether it's bat in that middle order or it's with the ball or marshalling the troops, I think speaks volumes of her character. And it's somebody who I've liked from the very onset that I saw her. Young, bubbly character. The best thing about her is that the character of who she is as a person stays on and off the field as well. She loves the game, has a smart head on her shoulders as well. And I think she's relishing the opportunity of captain. Now, ODI World Cup is a different beast altogether. But I think the one advantage Fatma has, or at least shows in her game, which is massive promise to Pakistan, is the occasion of captaincy doesn't seem to dent her batting or bowling ability. And that's why I feel she exudes more confidence out of that than the other way around. And I guess being an all-rounder provides you a double opportunity to impact the game as well. So it seems like she enjoys all of it.
Well, there is another Fatima in the squad, in 20-year-old Iman Fatima as well. Hasn't played much for Pakistan yet, 3 ODIs so far, but it seems that she's impressed very much in the domestic competition. What can you tell us about her?
Yeah, again, like I said, another one of those shining prospects that have come through the ranks of domestic cricket. Played against Ireland recently as well, so that's where her debut came about. But again, she's one of the changes along with Sadaf Shamas who made it from that qualifying team into this. So certainly her domestic performances have helped. And Pakistan, again, looking to add as much firepower, as much versatility as they can in that batting order.
And of course, one of the biggest occasions at a World Cup like this, which is a full round robin tournament, will be when Pakistan and India meet. Do you have any worries that that match may not happen, given the fallout that's occurred in the wake of the Men's Asia Cup match?
Well, I really hope not. I really hope not. I think sport is one medium where we can actually bring people together and not the other way around. So it's really disappointing to see how the India-Pakistan game panned out. With the teams not shaking hands the world saw the entire thing and each can make up what it was, but it was very, very disappointing from a sportsmanship point of view, the way the whole game panned out. So I really hope that it doesn't have a trickle-on effect in terms of a Pakistan-India game altogether not happening, whether it's in a continuation in this Asia Cup or the Women's World Cup or the T20 World Cup in the near future, because it won't just be a loss for sport, but just what the magnanimity of that event can actually do for the betterment of the sporting world and all along the impact it can have all over the world. So I really hope the game on the 4th goes on and there is no sort of ripple effect in the negative, hopefully, from how things transpired during that previous game, India-Pakistan.
Aruj, thank you so much for joining us on Stumped and look forward to catching up over the course of the World Cup.
Pleasure. Thank you very much for having me. Let's have a good World Cup.
Well, that's all we've got time for on this week's Stumped for Akash Varney. Don't forget you can follow us on X. We're at BBCWS Sport and use the hashtag BBC Stumped. And check us out on YouTube as well by going to the BBC World Service on YouTube. My thanks to Charu Sharma and Jim Maxwell, and to all of you for listening. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
Stumped is a BBC Sport production for the BBC World Service in association with ABC and Akashvani.